Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, research conducted by the United Kingdom's Financial Conduct Authority, or the FCA, has found that 1.9 million UK residents currently own cryptocurrencies, while 2.6 million are estimated to have bought crypto at some point. The research report, published by the FCA into how consumers interact with cryptocurrency markets in the United Kingdom, found that 3.86% of the country's general adult population owns cryptocurrencies, as its adult population is estimated to be approximately 50 million people. Approximately. What about the people who just turned 18? To the FCA, there was a statistically significant increase in cryptocurrency holders throughout the UK, as last year, roughly 3% of the country's adult population owned crypto at some point, and is now up to 5.35%. Ooh. The rise brings the total number of UK residents who have ever held crypto up to 2.6 million, up from 1.5 million. While the amount of adults owning crypto is relatively small compared to the total adult population, industry awareness appears to have hit a new high, as 73% of polled adults revealed that they have heard of cryptocurrencies, up from 42% last year. That's a massive increase. What was the thing that triggered the extra 30% of people learning about cryptocurrencies or hearing about it? I don't think there was much cryptocurrency talk in the news the last couple of, traditional news, the last 5, 6, 7 months. Am I missing something? According to the FCA's research, however, 75% of the 1.9 million people that currently hold crypto in the UK have less than £1,000, around $1,200 in the space, with 83% of them buying their assets via exchanges that are not based in the United Kingdom. Those who do buy crypto are nevertheless aware of the risks, per the FCA. And then they talk about that they were asking people, do you understand the risks of owning cryptocurrency, and so and if you lose your money you won't be able to get it back, etc., etc., etc. This is very incredibly popular news. It was kind of all over the place. If you articles are abound about this. The really interesting thing was that a lot of the articles were touting this news as 3 to 5% of all adults within the UK own cryptocurrency, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then you realize that 1.9 million is a huge number of people. It's literally in the millions at that point, and that's just within the United Kingdom. The numbers that we had before, and that I've quoted many other times, but these are, I'm sure, older numbers at this point, is that around 50 million people on the planet own crypto / Bitcoin in some sort of way. But these numbers are also incredibly old. So I wonder how many. It has to be, is it over 70 to 100 million people on the planet who own crypto in some sort of way now, especially with the wave of hyperinflation and madness we've been seeing over the last couple of months. I wonder if that's also spurred a new group of people to get into the cryptocurrency space as well. Very fascinating. That's a huge amount of people in just one space, and that's just the numbers that they kind of have come up with. I'm pretty sure that there are tons of a lot more who probably are also owning it without simply disclosing it. And you also have to wonder as well, if these are just the adults, I'm pretty sure on the opposite end as well, there are probably younger people who also own cryptocurrency as well. Quite fascinating, because I always wonder what the number of people are. How many people there are on the planet who actually own crypto, not how much they own in particular, but if you understand or see the numbers, that it keeps increasing more and more as far as awareness and buying every single year. And the people, even if they're only owning £1,000, that's still a chunk of some coin in the market that's getting taken away and being held for long-term purposes, one can only assume. It leads to very interesting questions, once again, of how many coins are circulating and how few coins are there out there that people have access to because, there's less circulating. Anyway, I find news like this very interesting. I know other people might find it boring because it doesn't have much to do with prices and stuff like that, but the wave continues in a huge manner. It's no longer estimates that maybe 100,000 people on the planet own crypto. Is now just within the UK alone, it's almost 2 million people. That's completely insane if you think about the entire, it's just one country. Think about the rest of the, anyway. That's the owning Bitcoin population number £100,000 news. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, as September is near approaching, Grin++ developer David Burkett has been working hard towards the implementation of Mimblewimble in Litecoin. The developer recently updated the community about the progress of Mimblewimble. In June recently, the Litecoin network was in the news for adjusting its mining difficulty from 7.9 million to 9.4 million. Wow. Apart from this, the Litecoin network seems to be keeping everything low-key. However, the implementation of Mimblewimble on the network is still underway. Litecoin's team is eyeing the implementation of Mimblewimble as a protocol, as well as the extension blocks in order to address the privacy and scalability hurdles that the network is facing. While the Mimblewimble phase, like the 38th time I've had to say that, while the Mimblewimble phrase from Harry Potter is a tongue-tying curse, the Litecoin community fear that MW, thank you, protocol could tie Litecoin as a privacy coin. However, Litecoin's creator Charlie Lee shed light on the issue on the same, and has been clearing FUD around the MW implementation. In more recent updates, David Burkett, Grin++, and Litecoin developer elaborated on the updates pertaining to the Mimblewimble implementation. It is kind of a tongue twister. Mimblewimble implementation for the month of June. The Litecoin Foundation took to Twitter to reveal the June updates to the community. The tweet read, "Want to know the latest on Mimblewimble implementation? Blah, 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 blah. Minimal implementation of the mempool coded minimum logic has been written for, including extension blocks. Mimblewimble transactions can now be broadcast to peers. Everything is still on track for a mid-September testnet." Not the full thing, but still the testnet. Sure, we've been talking about this. It's been over a year and some change now. I thought we would have this by now. I thought that by the end of last year, we were supposed to have Mimblewimble on top of Litecoin. Litecoin is, they're like a very quiet coin. They used to be a lot more vocal years ago, but they've kind of taken to the shadows, and there's still tons of work being done on Litecoin. It's just we never really hear about it in a normal fashion anymore. And I wonder what the future of Litecoin is going to look like, what it's going to be used for. A lot of people have touted Litecoin for many years in the cryptocurrency space as a test net for Bitcoin. But now it seems to be moving and maybe into its own little different direction. I do wonder what the actual implementation of private transactions on top of Litecoin is going to do, what it's going to mean for the coin, if it's going to be delisted from any platforms, if it's going to have a switch feature. You can turn the privacy on or simply switch it off when you're trying to broadcast transactions to places like Coinbase or what have you. I don't know. It's very, very fascinating. I wish them good luck in all of this. I wonder what effect, if any, this will have on the actual price of Litecoin. It hasn't fallen into obscurity, but we simply don't hear about Litecoin as much as we do Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Tezos, dare I say Compound? No, I dare not say it. And even Cardano. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Litecoin is going to go away, but I think it's definitely moving in its own little corner area from where it used to be. Next up, crypto payment processor BitPay now supports segregated witness, or SegWit, according to a company blog post shared in advance with CoinDesk. They said support for SegWit is currently an optional feature for Bitcoin wallets and the and the BitPay app. Jeez Louise. Later this year, as part of a phased rollout plan, support for SegWit will be a default for all Bitcoin wallets. In addition, later this year, SegWit will be implemented for invoice payments, the blog stated. The move comes 3 years after the firm opposed the update in favor of an alternative solution, SegWit 2x. The fight over SegWit versus SegWit 2x fractured the Bitcoin community, and it didn't have to, but the dispute spilled over into a civil war of sorts between Bitcoin advocates that saw closed-door industry agreements and the launch of rival project Bcash and the swatting of Bitcoin developer Jameson Lopp, because people are terrible and they felt the need to do that because of a digital protocol. Think of that. Someone got swatted because of numbers on a screen. BitPay regularly processes some $1 billion in yearly payments. The firm processed 100,000 payments in April, with 91% of them being Bitcoin transactions. SegWit was first proposed in 2015 by Bitcoin core developer Peter Willey and quickly became a flashpoint for the developer community. In essence, SegWit freed up block space without increasing the block size in order to keep the Bitcoin blockchain small. This is the discussion that we've had before as far as increasing block sizes, making Bitcoin's transaction, having more transactions and being able to do this in the entire, I mean, this has been going on for a very long time. It's never going to end. The partial finality that came down to it was that people are going to just simply leave the core alone. People believe that you should be able to update the core as much as you want. The other side of the argument was there's far too much money flowing through the core to damage the core. Any type of upgrades to the actual system should simply be in side chains or other layers so that should they break down, the actual core remains completely the same. People did not care for this. They were talking about making a new coin, and that's when Bcash was created. I mean, I'm sure this is an oversimplification, hyper-simplification of the situation, is just kind of to let you all know why there are multiple Bitcoin clones. It also took out a vulnerability called transaction malleability that allowed for transaction signatures to be manipulated. Removing this vulnerability was a necessary condition to develop an experimental payment platform on top of Bitcoin, which was the Lightning Network. A lot of people over the years have been adopting SegWit, or finally saying, fine, let's do SegWit. If you want the truth of it, a lot of people believed that Bcash by the end of 2017 and 2018 would be Bitcoin. You can find Roger Ver and many other people saying that, you know, by the end of this year, it won't be called Bcash anymore. It'll simply be called Bitcoin. Sure. What it helped was, or rather, in complete honesty, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. It's still the number one coin. Nothing has changed. So people are realizing, let's just simplification. Let's just simply adopt SegWit, because SegWit is also what's helping people have lower transaction costs when they're actually sending huge amounts of Bitcoin. There's been a couple of articles. I haven't read them unless you feel like hearing about transactions happening on the Bitcoin network. Doubt it. There was a transaction that there have been multiple that people have been sending around $1 billion or $800 million, and it's usually cryptocurrency exchanges sending money back and forth, or even just really rich people sending money back and forth, but they've been paying transaction fees of 28 cents to send $1 billion, which is completely impossible in the current banking system because they usually charge 2, 3, 4, 5% for a transaction that's flowing through their system. So $1 billion, 28 cents is absolutely remarkable, but it's also happening because of SegWit. At the end of it, I don't really care if we have SegWit or not, as long as the core is preserved. And, same exact thing goes for every other thing, for every other coin. As long as you keep the actual main system in check and just continue updating it with side chains and other things like that, because there really is far too much money. Like a lot of you maybe haven't been in the cryptocurrency space for that long. The issue is that tons of other coins have had updates, have had upgrades to their direct core, and they've had problems weeks after. Now imagine a situation where Bitcoin itself, just its network, is worth $400 billion, and someone upgrades it, and then people start double spending, or people start destroying it, or people start wreaking havoc, or something. People find an exploit in the actual code, and then that 400 billion is heavily compromised. Now imagine the same exact situation where every year Bitcoin's core has an actual upgrade, and Bitcoin's entire network is worth $1 trillion. And something goes wrong. You can't have that. Imagine if Bitcoin itself is worth 500,000 per coin, that's $10 trillion as a market cap, and someone finds an exploit and they shut down the network for 48 hours. You can't have all these things. This is why the logic is you leave the core alone so that should other chains, side chains, whatever, not work properly, you can still be able to send Bitcoin through the actual network. Your fees may be $28, but gosh darn it, you can still use it. That's the idea behind it. And now we see we get news like this maybe every 3 or 4 months that some major company is finally adopting SegWit. I don't think there's any way around it at this point. People are going to demand cheaper transaction fees. Anyway, it was bound to happen, but here we are, and let's move on. Next up, the Bank of Japan has announced that it will be experimenting with a central bank digital currency. Wow. To check its feasibility from a technical perspective. The Bank of Japan wants to digitize cash, but it remains to be seen if Japan can catch up with China, which has already begun testing its own central bank digital currency. This is the first time that the Bank of Japan has revealed it would commence a proof of concept process with the digital yen, but the bank is yet to reveal a timetable. In a report called Technical Hurdles for Central Bank Digital Currency, the bank stated it would check the feasibility of central bank digital currencies from a technical perspective, collaborate with other central banks and relevant institutions, and consider introducing a central bank digital currency. Logically. In February, news emerged that the central banks of Britain, the Eurozone, Japan, Canada, Sweden, and Switzerland had announced a plan to collaborate on researching issuing digital currencies. Bank of Japan thinks that there are two technical hurdles: universal access and resilience. The former refers to providing accessibility to everyone, including those without a smartphone. Surprisingly, according to Nikkei, as of 2018, only 65% of people within Japan have smartphones. 65%? It seems like an incredibly low number. Okay, then never mind. I can see like they have a rapidly aging population, so I assume people over the age of 70 aren't hankering to go to get the latest iPhone. But that seems like a very low. I see old people around me all the time who are around like 130 years old on the bus playing solitaire on their smartphone. So they said it's important to develop a central bank digital currency to be available to a variety of users, and they want resilience if electrical power is down. I have no real faith in any central bank digital currency. It's not because of the entire inflation thing, which is an entirely different discussion in and of itself. It has to do with, I don't think any of them are going to get it right. I think it's either going to be too the word isn't daunting, too restrictive in its use. I think a lot of them are going to try and make sure that they make it function within their own borders, but it'll be difficult to kind of swap it. We've seen how, I mean, you're all here. We've seen how the world has worked for as long as we've all been alive, and it doesn't really function that well. Even with all the technology and computers that we have right now, things are still very fragmented. I think a large part of what's going to happen is that these things will be created. They'll be tested within central banks and or other, corporations and what have you. But I feel a huge amount of fragmentation is going to happen. I feel a huge amount of inflation is going to take place when everything is digitized, and people are going to simply just turn away from it in, I mean, you know, late game, realize that they should have been Bitcoin users in the anyway. I have no real faith for it. Here's the actual PDF for it. It's completely in Japanese, so have at it. If you the word universal access is there, that's kind of, and resilience. Wow. Yeah, that's that news. It should be unsurprising. Japan was also one of the countries in 2018 who said that they would never develop a central bank digital currency, and also told other countries not to create them. And here we are. Time is a wonderful thing, because the internet, you can always see exactly when these people were talking smack about blockchain and then rushing to develop it. Anyway, now let's move on. In also unsurprising news, the first digital coin produced by a central bank will soon be issued in the Eurozone, according to media reports, with Lithuania set to launch its own digital token known as LB-Coin. Next week, the Baltic country, which has been overall friendly to cryptocurrencies, will issue the digital coin as part of a project to trial central bank digital currencies and blockchain technology in everyday use, according to a report from Reuters on Thursday. In particular, 24,000 digital, and it gets weird. it's going to get very weird as I'm reading through it. In particular, 24,000 digital tokens called LB coins will go on sale next week based on blockchain technology. The launch follows on from Facebook revealing the Libra stablecoin, which has forced central banks to start seriously considering launching their own digital token. Commenting on the new currency, Marius Gurgilas, deputy governor of Lithuania Central Bank, said to Reuters, "No one in the central bank community was thinking about digital currency seriously before we realized that there is a legitimate threat that someone else will take our space. We need to provide society with what it wants," end quote. Wow. Ooh, gave me a headache. No. This is exactly what I'm always saying. Banks don't understand that people don't simply want digital payments, is that people want their money that they have inside of their bank accounts to stop being destroyed by inflation. This is the issue. And it also has to come, it comes down to the entire discussion of economic sovereignty and not having to rely on a central bank. It's the same exact thing when you want to spend your money and you get a phone call from the bank saying, "Why did you spend this money? Where is it going?" Like, how many of you have ever traveled overseas, used your bank account, used an ATM, try to use it a second time, and then your bank account has been blocked because it's been blocked by your bank even after you told them you were going to travel overseas? It happens quite often. It's completely ridiculous. The entire idea is that cryptocurrencies allow more people, decentralized cryptocurrencies, allow people the actual freedom to be able to use their money as they want. It's not that we simply want new numbers on a screen or to not have to hold cash anymore, which would also kind of be nice as cash is kind of gross. They don't get it. And this is part of the problem as well. Like, this is why I have no faith in all of this, because they simply think that everyone just wants, well, I mean, clearly Libra is going to launch, so they want numbers on a screen to be able to transact. This seems to be the new trend. Let's do it. No, it's not that at all. It's that banks are garbage. They're going to continue to be garbage, and they keep every 7 to 10 years we have a new global hyper recession or depression because of banks. This is the problem. And the other part being, I'm glad that he actually admitted it, because so many other banks and institutions and the International Monetary Fund and the BIS, the central bank, have all noted before that they're moving ahead with central bank digital currencies, but it has nothing to do with Libra. No, we're not even thinking about Libra. Of course you're thinking about Libra. And I'm certain. There's another timeline out there right now where not only has Libra launched and there was no real backlash against it, but there's already an Apple coin, an Amazon coin, and a whole bunch of other corporation coins. And I'm certain that they were on their way to being launched and or released, but the huge amount of backlash that Libra had and Facebook had against launching this entire thing, I mean, and even Kik and Telegram, all these things. If we had a situation where central banks hadn't completely freaked out, we'd be slightly, almost differently living in a different world right now. I mean, it'd be one where Facebook is more or less kind of more in control, which is an entirely different discussion as well. But we are on the cusp, like really close. I don't believe that banks will ever completely disappear. I don't think there's going to be a point in the future. There was a what's this guy's name? The guy from the What Bitcoin Did podcast. He was saying years ago he thought the idea that people would not want to custody their coins was completely ridiculous. But then he said he spoke to his dad, who's, a bit older than he is because it's his father. And he was telling his father about crypto, and his father was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool." But then he mentioned to his father, you're going to have to custody it yourself. And he was like, "No, that's never going to happen." So it's this idea that I don't think that banks are going to poof and disappear. I think they'll be forced to kind of morph into a crypto-friendly kind of thing, because there's never going to be a situation, there's never, where my mother, my grandmother, any of the older people in my family are going to want to, they have difficulty copy and pasting. There's never going to be a point where they're going to be able to copy and paste an address and wait for confirmed confirmations and all this other stuff. Anyway, the entire point is bringing it back, because I got off track heavily. Of course, all this has to do with Libra, and it's a really weird situation, because I would love to see. It would be too insane though. I would love to see what a world would look like if we had Amazon coin and Apple coin and Facebook coin kind of circulating around, banks would lose all their power within about a good 6 months. Like, you think the last 3, 4, 5 months of 19 were detrimental? Imagine a situation where people just simply decide to stop using those things. Same exact thing before. We were talking about the actual incentive to use. Anyway, the point is, according to Jorgilas, LB coin is similar to a central bank digital currency, which is tradition money, okay, in digital form, issued and governed by a country's central bank. Here's where it gets weird. The digital tokens will be sold in a pack of 6 for 99 euros and will come with an attached portrait of one of the 20 people who signed the Declaration of Independence of Lithuania. The central bank of the Baltic country expects users to trade the digital token with orders to build a specific set, which can then be exchanged for a credit card size silver coin with a nominal worth of 19 euros and 18 cents. Holders of LB's coin can exchange the token directly with the central bank and on private blockchain networks, according to Reuters. Why does this have to be so difficult? This is exactly what I'm talking about. They don't get it. They have no idea what they're doing. Why would I buy? Why? WHY would I buy a pack of 6 coins for 100 euros? I don't want a portrait of 20 people who signed the Declaration of that sounds, why? Why in the world would I want that? And then why would I then want to be able to, or be assumed that I'm going to trade that money that I just put into digital form back into a bank to get a credit card silver size coin that's worth 19 euros? It just doesn't make any sense. I'm going to assumption once again that all of these things, not that they're going to be a failure, they're just not going to work out. They're just not going to be a thing. I know that they're testing to see how these things are going to be and how they're going to work. It's just not going to work. Our banking system is garbage, and it's simply just going to be in a digitized form, and that's supposed to save the day. It won't. Not in any way, shape, or form. Right. So Lithuania is releasing their own digital currency. Good luck. What? Like, what is like? Can you imagine being so detached from reality that you really just don't get it? I don't understand it anymore. Anyway, that's, I mean, yeah, we'll see, because once Libra is launched, and once we do get a hint that there's going to be an Apple coin or an Amazon coin or any other or an Alibaba coin or something like that, it's over for them, because they really can't keep up. They just don't understand what all of this is, and at that point they'll rush to release their central bank digital currencies, thinking that people simply want digital coins or money in digital form. It's exhausting having to. All right, let's move on. And to finish things off, the DC Bar Association has announced that legal practitioners in the United States within Washington, D.C. can now accept digital currencies as a means of payment for their legal services. This looks like New York. Is this D.C.? I have no idea. This was contained in the district's bar most recent ethics opinion, which noted crypto would now be accepted as a means of payment for legal services as long as the fee agreement is fair and is only permissible if the lawyer can safely receive and store the payment. How else would they get the crypto? What? If you owe the lawyer 500 and they say, give me 800 in crypto, why would that be an option in the first place? And it's permissible if the lawyer can receive, and of course, how else am I giving them the crypto? Am I placing it in their hands? Am I emailing it to them? Oh gosh. Additionally, the Washington, D.C. Bar Association stated digital currency is simply a relatively new way of transferring economic value. Although the bar did not identify crypto as currencies like general fiat currencies, it, however, likens digital currencies to payment in property. Also, the group said Washington, D.C. lawyers must know about blockchain tech. I would assume so. The underlying technology of Bitcoin and other cryptos to ensure the safety and protection of all advanced fees. The DC bar said the main reason why Washington, D.C. lawyers can now accept crypto payment is the increasing use of digital currency as a form of payment among vendors and service providers. It also recognizes the volatile nature of cryptocurrencies. However, it noted that fairness to the client should be considered in fee arrangements. Wow. I don't think I can do any more. The point is, if you're in D.C. and you're trying to pay your lawyer, you can now... This looks like New York. Does DC look like this? And from every movie I've seen, this looks like New York. Why am I so hung up on this picture? Yeah, lawyers in Washington, D.C. can now accept crypto as payment. Slowly but surely, everyone is accepting crypto in a wide range and manner. I guess that's the news for that. This was also fairly popular. I don't know if it was the entirety of DC being able to, the lawyers being able to accept crypto, or if it was simply because it's about crypto. Anyway, you can basically pay for anything with crypto. So let's move on. Anyway, let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia569, Yasha Harari, Moonman High, XRP, The Pothead, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Chongo Lolo, Tsongo Lolo, Nostromo, John Sarson, Niana Marito, Abilbiophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas Renault, and Peace, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Wish III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangiala, Vori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Boarding McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Mosh Corner Staff, Arfmedic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger and Matonisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, Bolero, Bastos, and Hold On, I Have to Sneeze. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. At the moment, the cryptocurrency market looks an absolute mess. Bitcoin is sideways down. It is currently down by 0.98%. Little weird wave that's been going on. All the coins were hit by it. XRP is trying to go up. Cardano is trying to go back up. EOS is trying to go back up, as are Chainlink and OKB. They're also trying to move up in price. Look, Tether is the market is just absolutely wild. No real clear definition as to where prices are going to try to go. At this point, we keep moving and slamming back up between, what is it, 8,900 and 9,400? Back and forth. No idea why there's a complete sideways trend on Bitcoin's price. Where were the other really weird coins? VeChain Thor is trying to really go up. Kyber Network is up by 14%. Question mark. So 0x. Celsius. And where's Bitcoin Gold? Did it get knocked out of the... Wow. I think Bitcoin Gold actually got knocked out of the top 50 again. Woo. I do hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a... It's Friday already. This was a very quick week for me. I don't know if it was the same for everyone else. It went by extremely, extremely fast. I do hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.